We would like to request everyone to be seated and put his or her cell phone on silent mode before we formally commence our program. Once again, we would like to request everyone to be seated and put his or her cell phone on silent mode before we formally commence our program. Thank you.
Sa isang bansang binubuo ng mahigit kumulang 100 milyong katao, kabilang dito ang mga itinuturing na kaagapay at katuwang sa hangad na pagbabago. Kasama't kaisa sa pagbuo ng isang masigla at makabagong mundo para sa bawat Pilipino. Iba't iba man ang pinagmulan. Iba't iba man ang paniniwala at ipinaglalaban. Para sa sarili at para sa bayan. Handa ang kabataan!
Mga agam-agam ay iyong limutin.
Inihahandog ng Department of Education, katuwang ang Office of the Assistant Secretary for Youth Affairs and Special Concerns, Youth Formation Division, ang isang natatanging pagtitipon, 17 rehiyon. Mahigit 2,000 mag-aaral na handang makiluhok sa proseso at maging boses ng pagbabago. Sama-samang makikibahagi sa 3 araw na puno ng mga gawaing natatangi. Sama-samang magbumungkahi ng mga solusyong tutugon sa mga usaping kinakaharap ng makabagong panahon. Tungo sa mas kapaki-pakinabang, pantay at dekalidad na edukasyon para sa makabagong henerasyon. Ito ang Philippine Youth Convergence 2022. Embracing diversity, achieving quality and inclusive education for all.
May iyong limutin. Bawat pahinda ay iyong pagtasi.
Ito ay magbibigay ng pagkakataon upang ibida at ipakita ang mga natatanging kwento ng tagumpay at sakripisyo upang maisulong ang mga efforts at initiatives para sa kabutihang panlahat, lalo't higit para sa kabataan. Makisalamuha at makilala ang mga kapwa kabataan, profesional at mga eksperto sa larangan ng edukasyon. Sa PYC, siguradong mafe-feel mo na #YouthBelong ka! Dahil sa mga hatid naming mga gawain para sa mga kabataang Pilipino, gaya ng Development of Youth Education Agenda, Thematic Learning Sessions, local booths and exhibits, Opportunities Fair and Convergence Night, plenary talks and keynote speeches, panel discussions, DepEd series showing, at marami pang iba. Kasama ang inspiring, energetic, and well-known personalities, mga mag-aaral, youth formators, at iba pang tagapamuno ng mga paaralan mula sa iba't ibang dibisyon at rehiyon ng bansa. Ikaw, ako, tayo, ang education champions and advocates. Sama-sama, tulong-tulong sa pagkamit ng quality and inclusive education for all. Dahil sa Philippine Youth Convergence, #YouthBelong!
Ikaw ang simula.
We would like to request the SSG advisors, YFCs, or group representatives of Regions 9, 10, 11, and 12 to join the other advisors and YFCs here in the main hall. Thank you. Again, we would like to request the SSG advisors, YFCs, or group representatives of Regions 9, 10, 11, and 12 to join the other advisors, YFCs, here in the main hall. Thank you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to request everyone to be seated and put his or her cell phone on silent mode before we formally commence our program. Thank you. And now, let us all witness the entrance of the flags from all the regions of the country, together with their respective regional federation president of the Supreme Student Government and the regional youth formation coordinators. Ladies and gentlemen, from the region of the country's best culture and nature, Region 1, Ilocos Region. From your islands and Valley of Fun, Region 2, Cagayan Valley. It's definitely more fun in this haven. Region 3, Central Luzon. The Star Region of the Philippines, Region 4A, Calabarzon. Where we can find the land of the world's most perfect cone. Region 5, Bicol Region. The paradise where the mountain meets the sea. Region 6, Western Visayas. The abode of the Queen City of the South, Region 7, Central Visayas. Join me in welcoming the Paradise Undiscovered, Region 8, Eastern Visayas. From the City of Flowers, Region 9, Zamboanga Peninsula. From the top producer of pineapples in the country, Region 10, Northern Mindanao. Let's make way for the land of promise, Region 11, Davao Region. Known for its river system and mountain ranges, Region 12, Sorsogon. The largest mangrove forest reserves in Mindanao, Region 13, Caraga. The center of Philippine business and industry, National Capital Region. Where do you want to wake up and find yourself in? It's definitely in this wonderful place of Cordillera Administrative Region. Situated in the heart of the sea, they are known to be the people of the current, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Discover, invest, and uncover the potentials of its bountiful island provinces. The host region, the Mimaropa region. Welcome delegates to the 2022 Philippine Youth Convergence. It's indeed nice to see each of our region's flags and the participants gathered in this place this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, please all rise for the entrance of the colors. As one nation, let us rekindle our spirit of nationalism as we welcome the Puerto Princesa City Tepid Choir for the Philippine National Anthem to be followed by an ecumenical prayer.
ito po, itatanggit na lang po namin na birthday.
Once again, good morning everyone. We'd like to inform you of our safeguarding guidelines for the Philippine Youth Convergence 2022. For safeguarding guidance throughout the PYC event, the following are the guidelines for the adult participants, child participants, and presenters. Number one, everyone should observe safe and respectful language, behavior, or interactions. Number two, adult participants should not engage in any form of inappropriate behavior or action or make sexually suggestive comments or behavior to child participants and vulnerable adults. Number three, child participants should use proper language when talking with other child and adult participants. They should maintain to be respectful with other child participants as well. Number four, presenters shall ensure that the visuals, words, and content presented in the BYC are age and developmentally appropriate and follows the principles of non-discrimination, gender sensitivity, and inclusivity. They shall also pay special attention to their language, ensuring that this is safe for child participants. Number five, if a participant wishes to report a child protection concern or a child participant experiences distress while the PYC is ongoing, he or she may approach any CPU and STO Puerto Princesa City personnel. For any safeguarding concern, please contact the following. Number one, personnel of Child Protection Unit or CPU at cpu@deped.gov.ph. Again, that's CPU, lowercase cpu @deped.gov.ph. Or Attorney Aniza M. Babao, Attorney 3 of STO Puerto Princesa City. Her cell phone number is 0917-751-0739. Again, that's 0917-751-0739. And at Ms. Annie Claire Camangue, Project Development Officer 1 of STO Puerto Princesa City. Cell phone number 0921-815-8289. Again, that's 0921-815-8289. Again, ladies and gentlemen, those are our safeguarding guidelines for the Philippine Youth Convergence 2022. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, may we request everyone to rise. And as one nation, let us rekindle our spirit of nationalism as we welcome the Puerto Princesa City Deped Choir for the Philippine National Anthem, to be followed by an ecumenical prayer. Thank you. City March. You may now all be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, And listen once again to the Puerto Princesa City Deped Choir for the singing of the 2022 PYC theme song.
Mahirap bumangon, dala ng pagod ng kahapon. Nais lang magtalupong, sa una ng puso'y nakapakong. Hinga, huminga ng malalim, na alaala ay iyong limutin. Bawat pahina ay iyong bagtasin, ikaw ang dagitan ng ilaw sa dilim. Nasa iyo ang kapangyarihan, nasa iyo ang kinabukasan. Ikaw ay mangarap, ika'y magtiwala, ikaw ang magwagayway ng bandila. Ikaw ang simula. Oh, 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 oh.
Lapis man, maaari matugtog.
Ngunit ang puso'y di mapapagod.
Walang pangarap na di maban.
Bagong bukas ang itataguyod. Hinga, huminga ng malalim, mga kamay iyong limutin. Bawat pahina ay iyong bagtasin, ikaw ang dagitan ng tila sa dilim. Nasa iyo ang kapangyarihan,
Nasa iyo
ang kinabukasan. Ikaw ay mangarap, ika'y magtiwala, ikaw ang magwagayway ng bandila. Ikaw ang simula. Gising na, bangon na, ito ang iyong dadhana. Nasa iyo ang kapangyarihan, nasa iyo ang kinabukasan. Ikaw ay mangarap, ika'y magtiwala, ikaw ang magwagayway ng bandila. Ikaw ang simula. Bangon na. Ikaw ang simula.
Thank you very much, Puerto Princesa City Deped Choir, for singing the PYC 2022 theme song. Music and lyrics penned by Mr. EJ Yatko. And to further intensify our excitement, let us immerse ourselves in the depths of music, melodies, lights, and delight. Filipinas, let us witness Puerto Princesa's rich history and diverse biodiversity in this opening salvo.
at banwa.
was an awesome performance. Kudos to all these talented students and teachers from Puerto Princesa City. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are your hosts. Dr. Maria Katrina Sandra A. Magkamit Cortez, Education Program Supervisor for Values Education, Curriculum and Learning Management Division, DepEd Mimaropa Region, and Dr. Joey B. Gutierrez, Education Program Supervisor for English of the City Division of Calapan.
Ladies and gentlemen, that deserves another resounding round of applause. Can I hear louder than that? Ngayong umaga, Pilipinas, ay uugi tayo ng kasaysayan. Magandang umaga, kabataang Pilipino mula Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao at saan mang panig ng mundo.
Sa ating pagkakaiba-iba, binikisayo ng pagkakaisa, isang layunin, isang pangarap, para sa bayan, para sa kabataan. Ngayong umaga, iparinig natin ang ating iisang tinig. Dahil kabataan, isigaw mo! Ikaw ang simula!
Magandang umaga, Sandra. And it's nice to be back in the beautiful Puerto Princesa City, Palawan, and to be hosting another important national event with you. By the way, you look as vibrant and as youthful as our participants today. Tama ba?
Mukhang napilitan kayo ah. Ang gaganda at ang gagwapo ng kabataang Pilipino. Tama ba? Sumigaw! Isa pa ha, sumigaw ang kabataang Pilipino! Mas malakas! Wow! Yes, Sir Joey, and we are very fortunate to be here and visit Palawan Island, famously known as the last frontier, one of the Philippines' most biodiverse places, and of course, Puerto Princesa City, the city in the forest and the city of the living God.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are celebrating you. We are celebrating the Filipino youth, your diversity, your ingenuity, your potential, and your collective voices as a strong pillar of the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first ever Philippine Youth Convergence! Ibang-iba ang energy natin ngayong umaga. Kitang-kita natin, and the theme of our celebration today is embracing diversity
Achieving quality
and inclusive education for all. Wow, Sandra, it's a different feeling this morning. I have hosted a lot of events, pero ibang-iba ito. Kitang-kita natin with our distinguished guests and of course, the talented Filipino youth. Talaga naman, Sandra, nakakabata.
Wow! Talagang nakakabata, Sir Joey. The feeling in this Coliseum paints a beautiful story that is definitely historical dahil katulad nga ng sinabi natin kanina, this is the first ever Philippine Youth Convergence organized by the Youth Affairs and Special Concerns of DepEd Central Office. Kaya naman, let's make this memorable.
And speaking of memorable, alam niyo po ba kung sino ang laging nakakaalala sa inyo? Alam niyo po ba kung sino? May hugot tayo dyan. Ang Facebook. Dahil ang Facebook, laging may memory. And this is what you're going to do, Filipino youth all over the nation. Pakikuha po ng ating mga cellphones. Come on! Young people of the Philippines, get your cell phone. Take a selfie, everyone. Come on. Everyone, raise your cell phone. Take a selfie. Sandra, let's do this. Here we go. There you have it. At ipamalita natin sa buong mundo. I-post natin ito sa ating Facebook account. And let's use the hashtag #YouthBelong. Tandaan po natin, that is our hashtag #YouthBelong. Kasama po kayo because we are talking of inclusivity.
Wow! Hihintayin namin ang inyong mga tags sa Facebook at ipamalita natin sa buong mundo ang napakasayang pinagdiriwang natin ngayong araw. At para belong na belong ka talaga ngayong araw as we promote inclusivity, may we call on stage Mr. Arman Dudas to discuss the PYC event rules, to teach you some PYC jargons, and to explain the nomination for PYC Regional Youth Convenor. Please welcome once again Mr. Arman Dudas.
Maraming salamat, Sir Joey and Ma'am. Muli, magingay Kabataang Pilipino! Sabi na Sir Joey, mas malakas pa, magingay Kabataang Pilipino! Ayan, ganyang klase ng energy ang kailangan natin sa buong Philippine Youth Convergence. Once again, ako si Kuya Arman. Hinubog na ng panahon, medyo kakulay pa ng background natin ngayon. Pero sabi nga natin sa Philippine Youth Convergence, #YouthBelong. At para mas maging maayos ang daloy ng ating gawain sa araw na ito muna ang ilang paalaala. Una, ganito po talaga pag live, no? Pasensya na, medyo kinakabahan dahil ito yung unang pagkakataon na makakasama namin yung mga kabataan na nakikita lang namin before virtually, pero ngayon ay nakakasama namin harap-harapan. Una, always observe proper decorum. Kailangan natin to maging sino man yung makasama natin. Ikalawa, during the sessions, please kindly put your devices on mute para mas mapakinggan at mas natutunan natin ang mga ibabahagi ng ating mga speakers. Ikatlo, refrain from talking loudly to your seatmates, lalo tigit kapag may mahalagang bagay na ibinabahagi. Ikaapat, dress appropriately and refrain from wearing too revealing clothes. Kung matatandaan natin, we have given you some reminders about our dress code. At ito na nga, kitang-kita nyo for day 1, we are wearing the official PYC shirt. At mamayang gabi, isa rin sa mga highlights natin ng ating cultural night. Kaya talagang aabangan namin ang mga pinaghandaan nyong ethnic attire or kaya naman Filipiniana or barong. Ikalima, take care of your belongings dahil sabi nga nila, ang iyo ay ang iyo at ang kanya ay sa kanya. Okay? Dapat wala magaganap na agawan. Ika-anim, be mindful of your waste and clean as you go. We want to make sure that our venue or even your hotels or conference hall will be clean always. Ikapito, observe and follow health and safety protocols because we wanted to make sure that everyone is safe all throughout our session. Ikawalo, be on time. Ikasyam, be mindful of our curfew hours. Ikasampo, be active and participative dahil yan yung kailangan natin all throughout this event. At huli, enjoy and have fun. Maasahan ba naming lahat sa mga kabataang Pilipino na gagawin nating lahat ito? Maasahan ba namin? Mas malakas pa! At dahil dyan, magtungo na tayo sa ilan pang mga paalala. Ito yung mga jargons na gagawin natin all throughout our session. Unahin na natin ang Taas PYC. Kapag sinabi nating Taas PYC, bibigyan nyo kami ng palakpak ng mataas. Let's do it! Bigyan nyo kami ng isang taas. 2 taas. 3 taas. Because we have 17 regions, bigyan nyo kami ng 17 taas. Mahusay, magaling pa tayo sa mathematics sa mga panahon ito. Pero tingnan natin sa mga susunod pa mga oras. Ang sunod, Convergence Clap. Kapag sinabi natin Convergence Clap, we want you to clap loudly na may kasamang malakas na hiyawan. Okay? Let's hear it. Pahingi naman kami ng isang Convergence Club. Naku, mukhang kulang, parang pang barangay lang yan na kailangan natin pang national level. Once again, isang Convergence Club! Perfect and amazing. At ang sunod natin ay energy level check. Kapag ang mga loads natin dito ay okay na okay pa, dahil alam namin na mahihilig tayong mag-TikTok, kapag okay na okay pa ako, loads, ang gagawin natin ay woo! Woo! Diba? Hindi kasi talaga ako maalam. Anyways, pwede ba nating makita yan sa ating mga kabataang Pilipino? Energy level check kapag okay na okay pa, Lods. 1, 2, 3, go! O, diba? Feeling ko na doon tayo sa pangalawa. That is, ang sunod natin na energy level check ay lumalaban pa kahit pagod na. Okay, so paano yung lumalaban na? Lumalaban pa kahit pagod na. Kapag lumalaban pa kahit pagod na, ganito lang. Woo! Oh, okay. Ulitin natin, lumalaban pa kahit pagod na. 1, 2, 3, go! Woo! Oh, okay. At kapag walang-wala na talaga na, hindi ko na kaya ito, magdadab lang tayo. Okay? 1, 2, 3, go! Hindi ko na kaya ito, go! Alright, we will be using those jargons later on. And lastly, for our jargons, ito yung ating kabataan chant. Okay? Ito ay gagamitin natin all throughout our session. Kapag sinabi kong kabataan, kabataan Pilipino para sa edukasyon, ang sasabihin nyo ay, ako yan. Okay, ulitin natin. Kabataan Pilipino para sa edukasyon, ako yan. Kapag sinabi natin quality and inclusive education champions, kaming lahat yan. Ulitin natin. Quality and inclusive education champions, kaming lahat iyan. At ang huling bahagi, ikaw at ako, youth belong. Sabay-sabay tayo dito. Ikaw at ako, youth belong. Okay, once again, ikaw at ako, sabay-sabay. 1, 2, 3, go. Ikaw at ako, youth belong. Pwede ba natin siyang gawin ang nakatayo tayong lahat? Pakita natin sa ating mga kasamahan dito that we can do this with so much energy. Okay? Kabataang Pilipino para sa edukasyon. Quality and inclusive education champions. Kaming lahat yan. Ikaw at ako, youth belong. Yay! Palakpakan para sa inyong lahat. And with that, I will now proceed to the general mechanics and guidelines of the selection of the PYC regional conveners. One of the main highlights of this year's agenda is for us to develop youth education agenda. And to make it possible, we will be selecting our regional and lead conveners. And to do it, let's have the mechanics. First, the PYC aims to provide Filipino learners from all over the country a platform to consult one another, share best practices, and build a strong network that pushes reforms in youth and education. The PYC regional conveners will serve as the Department of Education's allies to identify the pressing issues and concerns of the young people. Next po tayo. The next one, this will be the tentative program or indicative program of our nomination and election. And this will be posted in the FB group that we've created for our participants. Next part, the nomination and election of the PYC regional conveners. Here are our guidelines. We have the elective position of PYC regional conveners is open to all student participants from public or private secondary schools participating in the Philippine Youth Convergence. The official candidates must be representing the 17 regions of the country. The National Federation of the Supreme Student Government, being the student representatives in policy-making body to Department of Education, are automatic members of the IDEya development. They shall be exempted by being elected as regional conveners to give chance to others to work with them collaboratively. Next, the number of candidates per region may vary depending upon the student participants' number of self or peer nomination. When we say self, in-nominate yung sarili nyo, peer nomination, nag-nominate kayo ng ibang tao. Each region will have its own unique forms for nomination and election. These links will be posted on the official FB community group, which is the Philippine Youth Convergence 2022. And here are the links that will be posted in our official Facebook group. Next po. Details needed in the Google Forms must have complied with. The organizing committee will review all entries to make sure that the nominees are qualified for the election. The reasons for the nomination will be one of the salient factors in considering our regional conveners. Next slide. Ito po yung mga links na makikita ninyo that we will be posting in our official Facebook group. So, official candidates will be presented to the plenary and each candidate will be requested to present themselves on stage. Later, ipapakilala natin yung mga nominees natin for regional conveners para may idea kayo kung sino yung mga dapat nyong iboto. And next one, here are the official links na i-share namin later on. Next would be, next po, total votes received through the forms will be canvassed and the candidate with the highest number of votes will be elected as our regional convener. And in case of a tie, we're going recounting and revoting. And for the PYC lead convener, it will be coming from our regional conveners. We will be convening them in exclusive session and they will be electing their lead convener. Next po. Okay po. And in case that the regional convener denied the opportunity to be the regional convener, the second person with the highest number of votes will be representing that region. Next po. And the next po, a ballot system of election will be using for the selection of the lead convener. The votes will be cast and to protect the secrecy of the votes, ganun po yung gagawin natin system. Next one. And in case of a tie, we're going to have revoting and recounting once again. And lastly, ito pa po yung other highlights ng ating gagawin. There will be the development of the youth education agenda and lastly, the presentation and turnover of our education agenda. Okay? And the participants are as follows. We will be also selecting our representatives to represent our student leaders na kasama pa rin po natin other than the regional conveners and the national federation. And to end, last na po talaga yan po yung reminder natin. So later, ang magiging announcement po natin, the nomination will open at 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. today. So we're going to keep you updated. And with that, muli, maraming salamat sa pagdalo sa Philippine Youth Convergence at sana mag-enjoy tayong lahat dahil sa PYC, #YouthBelong. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Arman Dudas. Alam niyo po ba, kababayan namin ni Sandra yan from Calapan City. Shout out sa lahat ng mga taga Calapan City. And I'm sure our participants today will get to remember that not only today but all throughout their lives.
At para mas higit na tumatak ang pagkasama-sama nating ito, mag-iingay tayo ngayon, Sir Joey, until the third day. At sa lahat ng nasa kaliwa, starting from that aisle, kapag nakita niyong itinaas si Sir Joey ang kanyang kaliwang kamay, isisigaw ninyo ang embracing diversity. Pwede ba?
Alright, subukan nga natin, Sandra. Those who are at the left, starting from the central aisle, ayan. If I raise my left hand, you're going to shout,
embracing diversity. 1, 2, 3, go!
parang ang hina nito. Kabataang Pilipino, kailangan pa namin ng mas malakas na energy. Tatayo kayo kapag itinaas ko yung kaliwa kong kamay. Here we go!
1, 2, 3, go! Wow! Pero hindi papatalo yung mga nasa kanan natin. Kapag naman tinaas si Sir Joey ang kanyang kanang kamay, isisigaw nyo ang achieving quality. Ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3, go! Wow! At kapag naman itinaas si Sir Joey ang dalawa niyang kamay, sasabihin natin or isisigaw natin, lahat po ha, lahat tatayo at isisigaw, inclusive education for all. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Okay, gawin natin mas
Alright.
may energy yan ngayon.
Let's do this. Again, you just have to look at my hand signal, left, right, and both hands.
Yes.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go!
Wow! mamaya mas palalakasin pa natin yan.
Sandra, the energy is overflowing today and it's indeed history. Kabataang Pilipino, iba ka.
Wow, tama ka dyan, Sir Joey. And as we continue, let me say that there are a lot of knowledge and insights that the participants, including us, will get from attending this event. And I know you had to endure the long and tiring travel, but we assure you, it's going to be worth it. Kaya sit back, relax, and you'll surely enjoy the rest of the day.
At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, our minds and hearts will be filled with inspirations from the words of our esteemed guests and speakers. We have the words of welcome to be delivered by the action man himself, the mayor of Puerto Princesa City, who spearheads apuradong administrasyon. Mga kaibigan, we have Honorable Lucilo Cecil Byron.
Please allow me to remove my mask temporarily. Assistant Secretary for Youth Affairs and Special Concerns, Honorable Juan Valeriano Respicio IV. Mimaropa Regional Director, Dr. Nicolas Capulong. To all the DepEd officials present today, sa mga kabataan na nandirito from the different regions of the country, ang pag-asa ng bayan, ang tagapagmana ng bansang Pilipinas. Magandang umaga po. Good morning. Mayat nga timprano kanindong tanan. At the outset, please allow me to express our appreciation and gratitude to the organizers of the Philippine Youth Convergence 2022 for choosing Puerto Princesa as the venue of your convergence. We are happy to have you with us for the next 3 to 5 days. Sa inyo pong lahat, maligayang pagdating. Thank you so much for visiting our city. Your visit will contribute to our continuing effort of promoting and projecting the city of Puerto Princesa as an eco-tourism destination and as a destination for conferences, conventions, and meetings as well. On behalf of the official dam and the people of Puerto Princesa, I have the pleasure and the honor to warmly, sincerely, and officially welcome all of you to Puerto Princesa City. Since you will not be staying long in our city, please allow me to share a few basic information about our city. Puerto Princesa City is located centrally in the long and narrow island province of Palawan, the last ecological frontier, the best island in the world. Puerto Princesa City is gateway to Palawan, since the main airport and the main seaport are both located in the city. It is the center for trade, commerce, business, governance, health, and education, being the capital of Palawan and the only city in the entire province. It is a highly urbanized city with a land area of 253,000 hectares, a population of 307,000 as of 2020 census, and a 5.31 billion budget for 2022. And we have 66 barangays. Puerto Princesa City is naturally beautiful with irregular coastlines, both in the East Coast and in the West Coast. The East Coast faces the Sulu Sea, and the West Coast faces the West Philippine Sea, and our coastlines totals approximately 419 kilometers. Isa ho na pinakamalaking coastline sa buong Pilipinas ang lungsod ng Puerto Princesa. These irregular coastlines resulted to bays, coves, and inlets, making the city more beautiful. Our number one industry is tourism, which was greatly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We are now on our way to recovery, though, with both our economy and tourism fast picking up. Our mangrove and tropical forests are practically intact. The city is endowed with a rich biodiversity both inland and in the sea. It is the home to the Puerto Princesa Underground River, a World Heritage Site, a Ramsar Site, and one of the 7 new wonders of nature. It is outside the typhoon belt, outside the ring of fire, and outside the seismic belt. So we have no earthquakes, no volcanoes, and no typhoons. That's what we say before. But most probably, due to climate change, our northern barangays were hit by Typhoon Odette last December. Ito ho ang pinakaunang typhoon namin at kapuna-puna na ang mga puno namin, kabali-bali ang mga sanga. Hindi pa naman masyadong malakas ang hangin. And we say, siguro hindi sanay yung mga puno dito sa Bagyo. Our dear guests, I have a lot more to say about the city of Puerto Princesa, but I don't want to take too much of your time. And maybe I leave some behind para you will have more reasons to come back to the city of Puerto Princesa. We hope you enjoy your stay with us. And once again, welcome to Puerto Princesa City. Maraming salamat po.
Wow, maraming salamat po, Honorable Mayor Byron, for such a welcoming message. Ibang-iba talaga ang hospitality ng taga Puerto Princesa City.
This time, I have the honor of introducing another distinguished leader who will inspire us with his words. Mga kaibigan, here is our regional director. Let's give a warm round of applause to Dr. Nicolas P. Capulong.
Hello. My respect and greetings to our Honorable Lucilo Bayron, the City Mayor of this beautiful city, Puerto Princesa. To our Assistant Secretary Juan Valeriano Respicio Deport of the Youth Office and Special Concerns of the Central Office, Department of Education. To our Central Office Directors, Director Rachel Miguel, Director Jennifer Lopez, andito po yung artista. Director ni Bianca Sanglay. To our Assistant Regional Director, Ma'am Susette Ganaban Medina. To our host, Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Lloyda Adornado, and her Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Tess. Our Schools Division Superintendents and their Assistant Superintendents of DepEd Mimaropa. Our Regional Chiefs, Division Chiefs, Supervisors, School Heads who are here, the staff of the Youth Office of Affairs and Special Concern, the staff of the Child Protection Unit of the Department of Education Central Office, our invited guests and facilitators who will be properly introduced later, my dear student leaders, campus journalists, our regional and division youth formation coordinators, ladies and gentlemen, it is with pride and honor that I welcome you to this first ever Philippine Youth Convergence. Welcome to the province of Palawan. Welcome to the beautiful city of Puerto Princesa, known as the City of the Living God, the home of God-fearing, disciplined, progressive, and environment-conscious people. As your regional host, and on behalf of the School Division Superintendent, School Division Office of Puerto Princesa, I welcome you to this historic event. Please enjoy and bring with you our love, our care, and hospitality during your short stay here in Puerto Princesa. The 2022 Philippine Youth Convergence was conceived and now being held to reassess, to realign, and to refocus youth-related initiatives and make them more responsive to the needs of our youth. Our youth have proven in so many occasions that they have a strong voice which they can use to advance their ideals, their initiatives, and solutions for some of the pressing issues today, most especially in education sector. As we envision our learners to be skilled and globally competitive, we envision more for our junior and senior high school students because they are almost at the finish line of their basic education. Thus, it is imperative that they bring with them the necessary tools, skills, grounding, and perspective to be able to assess and evaluate their future agenda. Hopefully, this forum will be able to provide that platform to fully realize their potentials. On DepEd's perspective, this is a great avenue to assess the context of our youth formation programs and to address the actual needs of our young learners. Our youth are very dynamic and ever-driven to advance their causes. They are very creative and imaginative. Thus, it is crucial that DepEd becomes a top collaborator in formulating much-needed intervention to address the gaps between education and the youth. The huge platform that this convergence represents provide appropriate solutions and relevant opportunities to make education very much inclusive for youth, coming in from all economic sectors. This platform will receive, acknowledge, and process our youth's common sentiments, feedbacks, and recommendations, and take them in consideration in terms of achieving quality, inclusivity, and equity in education. It is high time that our youth to take the forefront in spearheading conversation that directly affects them. Since this is a national level, and we have our youth participants from all over the country, the abundance of knowledge and ideas will also be profound, and each one is given the chance to dialogue, share insights, lessons learned, and best practices, collaborate with other stakeholders for more public and private engagements, and build a strong network to support their causes and bring forth substantial changes in our society. Thus, I urge everyone to actively participate and enjoy this wonderful opportunity to be listened to and to be heard of. As what the former American President Franklin Roosevelt once said, and I quote, "We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future." End of the quote. Truly, this youth convergence is for all of you, my dear students, and I hope that after the 3-day event, you will bring home with you the meaningful discussions and that you will engage and realize now your active and crucial role in building our nation. After all, as what Dr. Jose Rizal once said, ang kabataan, ang pag-asa ng bayan. Enjoy your stay here and bring with you good memories about our city, about our province, about our region, and share them to your family members and friends. But if we fail to meet your expectations, please be kind enough to leave them here and for us to pick up and learn for them to improve our next hosting for future events such as like this. Again, a great morning to all of you. Mayad nga temprano kanindog tanan.
Thank you very much, Director Capulong, for such an awe-inspiring message. On this occasion, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce another education leader who will inspire all of us with his words. Folks, join me in welcoming the Assistant Secretary for Youth Affairs and Special Concerns of DepEd Central Office. We have Honorable Juan Valeriano Respicio IV.
Good morning. To our honorable guests with us this morning, the Honorable Mayor of the City of Puerto Princesa, Mayor Lucilo Bayron, sir, to the Regional Director of the Mimaropa Region, my partner in this endeavor, Regional Director Nicolas Capulong. We also have with us today Ms. Ching Jorge from Youth-Led Philippines. Ching, to our colleagues in the management and executive committees of the Department of Education, and of course, to the Mimaropa region and the Office of the Schools Division of Puerto Princesa City. Good morning po. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. I would also like to greet a good morning to our partners and speakers, to our colleagues in the Department of Education, and to all government agencies here with us today. Also to our teachers, students, volunteers, and everyone who are joining us either physically or through live stream. Everyone, welcome to the first ever Philippine Youth Convergence. We in the Department of Education are happy and honored to have you here with us today. Karamihan po sa inyo ay nagbiyahe pa ng malayo galing sa iba't ibang lugar para makarating dito. But I also know that you, especially our dear learners, are the chosen few who get to represent your respective schools divisions from your respective provinces and regions. Your mere presence here today brings to life the theme of this year's PYC. Youth belong, embracing diversity, achieving quality and inclusive education for all. With the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, which brought about lockdowns and social distancing, opportunities for development through social and political awareness and participation have become limited to individual efforts and mainly through social media. The youth has been bombarded with information from various sources and political ideologies without much avenue to verify, discuss, process them with each other, let alone undertake the same under proper guidance. Unfortunately, the spread of misinformation and fake news has not only proliferated in the screens and timelines of the young, but also has infiltrated their minds and consciousness as well. The same has paved the way for online bullying, bashing, cancel culture, and other toxic, unhealthy, prejudiced, and even violent ways of engaging with different-minded groups and individuals. Meanwhile, like-minded groups have remained in their own social bubbles and have become more averse to listening, closed from trying to understand ideologies other than their own. Indeed, these circumstances have caused divisions in relationships amongst peers and even families. Such circumstances also pose dangers to the youth's mental health, as well as society's ability to think critically while working together despite differences. Thus, the Department of Education envisions the PYC to be a safe space and an inclusive avenue for our young learners to further realize and commit to their role in nation building, where they can also build diverse networks across the country and share these common goals. To achieve this, the lineup of keynote speeches and inspirational messages from some of our most influential and accomplished individuals of this generation seeks to rekindle in you the flame of hope, compassion, and the courage to act. Likewise, the panel discussions and thematic learning sessions by our respected guests and subject matter experts will provide you with the evidence-based, grounded, and fresh insights and perspectives on various social, political, and environmental issues and topics affecting this country today. We will also be launching a fair and marketplace of innovative solutions featuring local exhibits and interactive booths on the various interests of the youth. Sa pamamagitan ng mga talakayang ito, naway mas maramdaman at maisabuhay nyo ang core values ng Department of Education. Makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan, at makabansa. Kaya ng kabataang Pilipino na umpisahan ang pagbabago. Dahil dito, layunin namin sa DepEd sa pamamagitan ng PYC na turuan ang inyong mga isip at hubugin ang inyong mga puso para palaguin ang inyong kakayahang makagawa ng mabuting pagbabago sa ating lipunan. The department believes in the youth's untapped potential in delivering change in society. But aside from imparting knowledge and wisdom to you, our young learners, the PYC was also developed to learn from you. The DepEd envisions the PYC to be an avenue for the youth to participate in making better policies with regard to your education and your involvement in public and civic affairs. Thus, an important part of the PYC will be the formulation of the youth education agenda, which will reflect the youth's common sentiments, outlooks, constructive feedback, and policy recommendations on how to revitalize youth participation in nation building and to make education more inclusive. Besides the youth education agenda, our event will also culminate with the selection of the PYC regional youth conveners, who will be the DepEd's youth arm and ambassadors to set the tradition of PYC to collaborate and build a strong network across regions and various sectors to deliver real, responsive, and impactful change. The youth education agenda and the selection of the PYC regional conveners are some of the concrete steps that we will undertake to continue the work that we have started here with you. We believe that the participation, perspective, and voice of the youth are integral in crafting policies, projects, and programs that will truly reflect their hopes and address their needs. The Philippine Youth Convergence both challenges and caters to the youth. The youth belong to this conversation. You belong to DepEd's educational agenda. You belong to this family. And above all, you belong in a better Philippines we are all aspiring for. And we hope that you will take this opportunity to learn further, build connections, and broaden your horizons. Have fun while making the most out of this experience. Pagkatapos nitong ating programa, sana ay gamitin nyo ang lahat ng inyong mga natutunan para sa ikabubuti ng ating lipunan. Let us all work hand in hand towards achieving an equitable, accessible, quality, and inclusive education for all. Once again, good morning and welcome to the Philippine Youth Convergence.
Thank you very much for those beautiful words. Honorable Juan Valeriano C. Respicio IV. Folks, those are definitely food for our minds and hearts. What about giving them another resounding round of applause? Thank you very much once again, Mayor Bayron, Director Kapulong, and Assistant Secretary Respicio. Mabuhay po kayo.
And at this juncture, let us all witness a powerful rendition of the song Awit ng Kabataan. Mga kaibigan, here is Palawan National School Special Program in the Arts and Design students.
Magandang umaga, PYC!
Magandang umaga!
Magandang umaga!
Natatawa sa aking kaibigan at nangangaral ang buong mundo. Wala na raw tayong mga kabataan sa ating mga ulo.
Kung gusto niyo kami sigawan, bakit hindi niyo subukan?
Lalo lang kayo di maiintindihan.
Everybody! Ang awit ng kabataan, ang awit ng panahon, hanggang sa kinabukasan, awitin natin ngayon. Everybody! Woo! Hindi nyo kami bilang at hindi rin maikakahon. Everybody! Marami kami, ngunit isa lamang. Ang awit pasyon, ang awit ng kabataan, ang awit ng panahon, hanggang sa kinabukasan, awitin natin ngayon. At sa pagtulog sa gabi, maririnig ang dasal ng kabataang uhaw sa tunay na pagmamahal. Everybody clap your hands! Kunin po natin ang ating mga cellphones. Buksan ang flashlight. Hati taas! Ngayong umaga, kami mapakikinggan. Kung gusto nyo kaming subukan, bakit hindi nyo subukan? Subukan nyo kami pigilan. Subukan nyo kami. Ang awit ng kabataan, ang awit ng panahon, hanggang sa kinabukasan, awitin natin ngayon. Sabay, sabay! Kabataan, panahon. Ako yun! Kabataan, ngayon na ating panahon. Kabataan, lahat sumigaw! Panahon. Ano yun? Kabataan, panahon. Everybody! Kabataan, panahon. Hanggang sa kinabukasan, awitin natin ngayon. Sabay, sabay!
Come on!
Panahon. Kinabukasan, awitin natin ngayon.
Grabe! Maraming salamat. Wow! Thank you so much, Palawan National School. Special program in the arts and design students. Tunay nga na tagos sa puso ang liriko ng awit na yon.
Tunay na tunay, Sandra. At kung tago sa puso din naman ang pag-uusapan natin, ladies and gentlemen, we are very fortunate to hear a message from a leader whose leadership has made an impact to Filipinos, especially the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, I am encouraging everyone to please direct your attention on the screen for the keynote address from the Mayor of Davao City and the presumptive Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Sara Duterte Carpio.
The city government of Davao, allow me to extend the warmest greetings and congratulations to the organizers, school officers, and delegates from the 216 school division offices on the conduct of the Philippine Youth Convergence here in Puerto Princesa City. As the education sector continues to settle into the new normal, may this be an appropriate time to acknowledge the resilience and dedication of our teachers, faculty and staff, working in various learning institutions, as well as our Filipino learners who finished strong during the course of the pandemic. I am confident that this 3-day summit will become an avenue for growth that promotes inclusive learning, providing ample opportunities for the participants to hone their skills, impart ideas about relevant issues of today, and acquaint themselves with the importance of network building. And so, I am encouraging everyone to wholeheartedly take part in the activities prepared for this event, as it will assist in the crafting of the youth education agenda. Know that the city government of Davao remains supportive to all initiatives that will further the goal of providing quality education to the Filipino students. Congratulations and more power to the Department of Education, Office of the Assistant Secretary for Youth Affairs and Special Concerns. Daghang salamat.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sara Z. Duterte Carpio, Mayor of the Davao City and the presumptive Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. To continue, a performance that showcases the culture of Puerto Princesa City will fill our eyes, ears, and hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the PPC Cultural Ensemble under the supervision of Mr. Pedro T. Gambalan and Alfredo Amor A. Magbanua.
Loni nga labing maluban, gugma mo pluni nga ingkan na duwan. Lisensya ko ploni kung sarang tugutan, mapamasyara ko sa marayang lugar. Luni, pobre akong masyado, ara ko sa salan, nga mga rekwerdo, ara ko bulawan, ara ko dinero, solamente pluni. Damdaman mo ako. Luni. Mga pag-abot di gisamang banwa, mga inggagagman nga mga bisita, kami alilipay nga kamo makita. Amos dayon kamo, di gisamang banwa, sa intong pagpakon di gisamang banwa. Basi pang malipay, igintong malyagan, mga matitinlong, mga parasyaran, nga di gisamang banwa, lamang makikita. Risibyanin do mangalad kanindo, mga sauti tugtog nga durong kaligo. Amos mga tangay kita makalipay, tigisamang banwa, banwang pinalanggang ang Puerto Princesa. Amos dayon kamo sa Puerto Princesa. Amos dayon kamo sa Puerto Princesa. Kingkinganay wawa, sulanta ka langkang araunod, kapayas na mangon. Kingkinganay wawa, sulanta ka langkang
ay ikaw tatabandan. Pagsuot sa liyang-liyang, sa batong malinang-linang. Tarinting paglayog doon, ay ikaw tatabandan. Pagsuot sa liyang-liyang, sa batong malinang-linang. Ako milayang pasya, panamban-tamban, di pamalanang. Pora bila kumapila, kung agasulong dengan yang dagat. Ako milayang pasya, panamban-tamban, di pamalanang. Pora bila kumapila, kung agasulong dengan yang dagat. Kung agasulong dengan yang dagat. Kung agasulong dengan yang dagat. Tuti, ara kami kanyugan, ara kami kanyugan. Sinanay si tatay, perming pamagatnan, perming pamagatnan. Hanangin dadara, umot sanda tunggan, ang andang sumsuman, pugita subingan, pugita subingan. Tuti, ati ay tuti, ara kami kanyugan, ara kami kanyugan. Sinanay si tatay, perming pamagatnan, perming pamagatnan. Ananging dadara, umot sanda tunggan, ang gandang sumsuman, pugita subingan, pugita subingan. Tuti, ay tuti, ara kami kanyugan, ara kami kanyugan. Sinanay si tatay, perming pamagatnan, perming pamagatnan. Hananging dadara, umot sanda tunggan, ang gandang sumsuman, pugita subingan, pugita subingan. Kugita
Maraming salamat PPC Cultural Ensemble. That was truly an outstanding performance.
At this juncture, a keynote message will be delivered by Miss Princess Joyce Enahaje Pring Trivino, World Vision Ambassador, podcast host. Let us all watch this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we'd like to remind you, if you're posting on your social media account, wherever you took it, whether it's here, whether it's a photo of your shirt, or anywhere in Puerto Princesa City, please make use of the hashtag YouthBelong. Excited na ba kayo sa mga mangyayari sa 3 araw na ito? Parang bumababa ang energy natin. Excited na ba kayo? Ayan, I'm sure, katulad ng sinabi ni Sandra, it's worth the travel, the pagod, the puyat, as we believe there are participants who just arrived early this morning.
Yes, Sir Joey. Ang layo pa ng pinanggalingan ng mga kabataang ito. Pero alam ko, sa dami ng magagandang lugar dito sa Puerto Princesa, sulit. Hindi ba? Oh, sino po ang first timer dito sa Puerto Princesa City. Ay, ang dami! Sige nga po, pwedeng tumayo lahat ng first timer. Tayo lahat. Wow! Ayan. At palakpakan ninyo ang inyong mga sarili dahil first time nyo, mag-e-enjoy kayo. Ayan, good luck at sana maging masaya po ang stay ninyo dito sa Puerto Princesa City. Ayan, and once again, a keynote message will be delivered by Miss Princess Joyce and Ahe Pring Trevino, World Vision Ambassador and podcast host. Let's all watch this. Sino naman ang nakarating na dito sa Puerto Princesa at muling nagbabalik? Taas ang kamay! Wow!
Ayan, may ilan tayo nakikita, Sandra.
Kamusta naman ang second time around? Okay po ba? May pagbabago ba dito simula nung una kayong pumunta? Sana meron kasi maraming prepare ang Puerto Princesa para po sa inyo.
And just an announcement for everyone, para lang po sa kaalaman natin, the first 8 booth are located at the first and second floors, left and right aisle. And the command center is at the second floor. Ayan, para safe na safe tayong lahat, Sandra.
Before anything else, we would like to acknowledge Attorney Ann Rachel C. Miguel, Director 4 of the Bureau of Human Resources and Organizational Development, or the BHROD, Director Jennifer E. Lopez, Director 3, and Nina Bianca Disanglay, Director 3 from the BHROD. Hello po sa inyo.
At syempre, ang ating mga education leaders who are here, Schools Division Superintendents, Assistant Schools Division Superintendents, as well as the Chiefs of CID, SGOD, Public Schools District Supervisors, and school heads. Kompleto tayo dito, and teachers. So I think we're ready to watch the message.
Here's once again Miss Princess Joyce and Ahe Pring Trevino, World Vision Ambassador and a podcast host.
Hello and good morning to all of the delegates and the participants of PYC this 2022. My name is Joyce Pring Trevino and I'm honored to be one of your speakers for this conference. First, I have to tell you the story of why you're seeing me on the screen and not on the stage. I know that some of you guys already expected me to be a part of the live speakers, and to be honest, I was so excited for this event dahil ito po dapat yung first ever live speaking engagement ko in a public event, and I'm so honored that DepEd invited me. I was so excited to be in front of actual people, audience talaga, na hindi lang screen or camera katulad nito. But I got this invite while I was out of the country. Tapos, nung pauwi na kami, we were out for more than a month. And nung pauwi na kami, nag-take kami ng tests and nag-negative kami sa COVID. Tapos, we were so excited because that meant na, I could do this event and that we could safely go home. So when we got home, dahil 1 month nga kaming nawala, meron kami mga mahal sa buhay that really missed us and we really missed them. And since we were negative, we were like, okay, sige, pwede natin silang kitain dahil safe naman tayo. Lo and behold, today, nalaman namin na isa sa mga taong nakasalamuhan namin nung araw na yon ay positive sa COVID. So we were closely in contact with this person. We ate with this person. We hung out for an hour or 2 with this person. This person even carried our baby and we hugged them. And because we had confidence that we were all okay and healthy. And this person from our loved ones started exhibiting symptoms yesterday and also got a positive COVID test today. And they just told us today also, right before my flight going to Palawan. Kaya po, andito ako ngayon sa screen nyo. instead of in front of you. So all that to say, I'm really sorry I couldn't be there. It's for everyone's safety that we decided to just stay at home and wait. Dahil yesterday I was starting to have headache, and kahapon iniisip ko, baka sa init lang yan. So ngayon na nalaman ko na COVID positive yung kasama namin, we're just taking extra precautionary measures. And hopefully tomorrow, when we do take our RT-PCR, magne-negative siya. So please do keep praying for us, our little family, especially our baby Aliam. And also keep in mind to stay vigilant and stay safe while you guys are there. But at the same time, enjoy. Because I'm sure that for many of us, it's your first time to really see your friends, your peers, and other human beings in this nice little setup of actually being in person, to learn new things and to experience new things together. All that being said, hello again. I want this talk to be still as engaging as possible. So medyo I'll feel funny asking the questions, pero sana mag-participate ako kahit hindi nyo mag-participate kayo kahit hindi nyo ako nakikita right in front of you as in person. Please do answer these questions and still try to communicate with the person next to you. So I have been tasked with the wonderful topic of encouraging learners to go beyond their potential. Now, before we jump right into that, I want to first have you ask the person next to you, tanungin niyo siya, how do we go beyond our potential? Okay, turn to the person next to you and say, how do we go beyond our potential? How do you go beyond your potential? Paano nga ba natin ma-exceed yung potential natin? Go! Guys, tanungin niyo yung isa't isa ha. Dapat may murmur akong nakikita or naririnig. Papanoorin ko to. Kung posible. Via video call. Okay. So now that you've asked that question, hopefully it's something that we'll be able to answer at the end of my talk, because I have 3 simple points that I feel like could help us all determine how we can go beyond our potential. But before we go into that, kailangan muna nating i-define ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng potential, because it's a really big word, you know. It's a word that we don't really hear often, but it's something that I'm sure all of us at some point have encountered. Potential basically is what you may become. Kumbaga, ito yung pwedeng maging ikaw. And people usually size up your potential according to your history, the family you come from, the background you come from, your intelligence, your talents, your capabilities, and most of the time, people either say, you have really big potential, or, di masyadong maganda yung potential nitong taong to. And to be honest, I have been on both sides of the spectrum. I've experienced in my life people telling me, you have great potential. I've experienced amazing teachers telling me that you have great potential, kayang-kaya mo to if only you put your mind into it and if only you focus. That's why I love teachers, and I feel like they're modern-day heroes because they have that power to encourage us and tell us, you have great potential. But on the other side, I've also experienced personal relationships, sometimes even family members who've told me, huwag mo nang gawin yan kasi wala kang potential dyan. I remember when I was a kid, and you know, I was so musically inclined. So naturally, nagtanong ako sa mga tao sa paligid ko, guardians ko, and I said, pwede mo ba akong i-enroll sa piano lessons or sa singing lessons kasi gusto kong maging magaling doon eh. At sinabihan lang ako nitong tao na to, sabi niya, alam mo, kung may potential ka dyan, kami na mismo yung nag-enroll sa'yo, kaso wala eh. And until this day, that haunts me. Until this day, that hurts me. And I just want to acknowledge all of you guys who have experienced that. Sa lahat ng mga tao nakarinig na nun, either you have really big potential and meron kang crushing pressure that's on your shoulders right now because you've always been told you had great potential, or you're on the other end of the spectrum na you've always been told, wala ka masyadong potential, chill ka lang dyan. I want to acknowledge you right now that wherever you land on the spectrum, whether you have great potential or not so great potential, it doesn't really matter. What matters at the end of the day is what you do with that potential and how you go beyond it. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we dive into it, I want to introduce myself again. My name is Joyce Spring Trevino. I am a podcast host of a show called Adulting with Joyce Spring. I am a TV host, and I have been hosting in TV, in media, in radio for the past 10 years. I am also a content creator and a keynote speaker. But above all that, I have gone beyond my potential, and I've become a wife and a mom. I never knew that I had the potential to do that, but here I am in that journey. So, kung kaya ko, mas kaya nyo. Apart from that, I also want to include the fact that I am a World Vision Ambassador, and I've been a World Vision Ambassador for the past 5 years. I've been a World Vision sponsor for the past 8 years, and I really believe that we can all go beyond our potential by figuring out first how we can find our purpose. Second, how we can persevere in our daily habits o yung mga sistema na meron tayo sa buhay to reach our potential, go beyond it, and to find our purpose. And third and finally, that we must gain a deeper, bigger, and a different perspective in life. So let's start with this quote from Terry Orlick, who says, "The heart of human excellence often begins to beat when you discover a pursuit that absorbs you, frees you, challenges you, or gives you a sense of meaning, joy, or passion." Gusto ko mag-umpisa dun sa quote na yun because I believe that no matter what kind of potential you were born with, or ano man yung circumstances, o kaya naman yung background, pamilya, intelligence na meron ka, you can always go beyond it if you first know what your purpose is. You have to find your why. So, can you please turn to the person next to you and ask, alam mo ba na may potential ka? Yan. At bukod dyan sa question na yan, pwede mo rin tanungin, para saan ka bumabangon? Alam mo may potential ka, at para saan ka bumabangon? What is your purpose whenever you wake up in the morning? Yes, nagtatanong ba kayo? Yan, kailangan nyo magtanong sa isa't isa ha, para hindi tayo tahimik lang, hindi pin drop silence. I love this quote from Fyodor Dostoevsky, who says, "The mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for." Friends, I want to encourage you today that kahit na hindi mo alam na may potential ka, sasabihin ko sa'yo ngayon pa lang that the fact alone that you are here right now, that you're able to hear me, see me, and understand what I'm trying to say to you, you already have potential. And even with the biggest challenges of your life, kung hindi ka man nanggaling sa background na, alam mo yung feeling mo, wala masyadong potential yung background mo, or yung family mo, or yung mga pinagdaanan mo, feel mo, nagwe-weigh down siya sa'yo, you can still go beyond your potential. Don't let yourself be defined by what others say you're capable of doing, but rather reimagine your reality by finding a bigger purpose to go beyond your potential. So let's talk about this. You know, I feel like there are two things that drive us. It's either our clock or our compass. Ano ba yung clock natin? Yung clock natin, yung timeline natin sa buhay, di ba? Hindi ko alam kung nakikita nyo minsan yung mga meme na yan na, gagraduate ako by 23, I'll get my first job after that, tapos magpapakasal ako ng 25, tapos magkakababies ako by 29, yadi-yadi-da. Yung mga tao minsan iniisip natin, ay, pag hindi ko pa nagagawa yun by this particular timeline, failure na ako. But in reality, we all grow at different rates, and we all fulfill our potentials and go beyond it at different timelines as well. So for your clock and for your timeline, don't be pressured by constantly comparing yourself to the person next to you, or to the people that you see on social media, or to your classmates, or to whoever. Your timeline is yours and yours alone. And sometimes the way that we aren't able to fulfill or go beyond our potentials is because we're too focused on our timeline and how it's much faster or much slower than the person next to us. So that's the first one. That's the clock. That's the timeline. And I want to encourage you today to think about, instead of the timeline lang instead na timeline lang or yung clock lang yung iisipin natin, isipin nyo rin yung compass. O kaya naman yung direction. So you can write down clock, compass. Write those two words down and write down under clock, timeline, write down under compass, direction. Now, of course, hindi natin sasabihin na hindi importante yung timeline. Of course, that's still important, right? There are a lot of things that we have to do at certain timelines or at least fulfill at certain timelines. And at the same time, kahit na hindi natin ma-fulfill yun during that certain specific timeline, we can go beyond that and figure things out. But we still have to work with the time that we have here on Earth. But the more important thing for me is the direction or the compass. Ano ba yung bigger purpose of your life that you are gonna be focusing on to direct your potential, direct your time, your talents, and your treasure towards? Yun yung compass natin, yun yung direction natin. So I want to encourage you guys, when we talk about going beyond our potential, we sometimes get caught up with the idea of, I can only do certain things, I can only be a specific thing, I can only be this. Ito lang yung kaya kong gawin dahil ito lang yung potential ko. But the reality is, if you find out your why or your bigger purpose, and you align that with your clock, which is your timeline, and also your compass, which is your direction, then you can build up your potential no matter how small or how big it is to a bigger purpose. If you know what your why is, kahit na gaano ka kulelat minsan sa buhay, kasi aminin natin, minsan makukulelat tayo sa buhay, di ba? We don't get to achieve the things that we want to or the things that we think we should be achieving. Even if you fail, and even if you struggle, and even if you face hundreds and hundreds of challenges, you'll be okay as long as you remember in your head that it doesn't matter where I am right now. What matters is where I can be and where I will be going to find my purpose and to fulfill, bigger word, to fulfill my purpose. So that's the first one. And the second point that I wanted to share with you guys here today is, of course, to go beyond our potential, we must persevere. Perseverance is the next thing. So from potential, we go for purpose, and from purpose, we go to perseverance. Daily habits for our mental health, our well-being, and for our productivity. Why do we have to talk about persevering in our daily habits? I loved a quote that I recently read wherein sabi niya, I'm not gonna be verbatim about it, hindi ko siya nalagay sa presentation ko, pero the quote somehow said something like, you know, what you're capable of doing is not about what your goals are, it's about what kind of systems you have in place to reach those goals. And when I read that, I was like, totoo nga, no? Na pwede tayong mag-manifest all we want. Pwede tayong mag-isip kung ano yung mga goals natin. Pwede natin isulat lahat ng mga dreams natin sa dream board natin. But if we don't put in systems in place or habits in place that will help us usher in our goal and our purpose, then we can't really achieve anything. So let me draw that back to potential. A lot of us are sometimes discouraged, or a lot of us become egoistic or prideful because of our potential. Prideful when we say na, alam mo, napakatalino mo, napakagaling mo, madami kang potential, you'll reach a lot of things. We can be egoistic and be complacent when we hear that. I'm not saying all people do that, but you know, there's a part of us that becomes complacent kasi matalino naman ako, hindi na ako mag-aaral for the exam tomorrow. Matalino naman ako, I'm not gonna work hard anymore because I can just put in 50% and I get a 90% result, right? You can get that. Or you can be debilitated by the fact na hindi talaga ako born na matalino, hindi ako born na talented eh. So why should I even try, right? But in reality, no matter how big or how small your potential is, it can only be as good as the daily habits that you form to reach a certain purpose. What does this look like? If you're a person that struggles with learning, or you're a person that struggles with achieving goals, or you're a person that struggles with keeping up healthy relationships, you can either be debilitated by that, or you can start putting together daily habits that will help you be better mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You know, at the end of the day, we can only become the change that we want to see in the world. Kapag hindi tayo nagbago as individuals, we cannot expect the world around us to change as well. And I don't just mean like the metaphorical world around us, but I mean our personal relationships, our schooling, our career, our families, our country. Hindi siya magbabago unless us as individuals decide that, hey, I'm gonna be better, and I'm gonna start making my relationships better, and I'm gonna put in better systems, and I'm gonna fulfill better habits, and I'm gonna think better thoughts, and I'm gonna have better things, better relationships. I'm gonna put those things as a goal, and I'm gonna work towards those goals. Yung, kumbaga, bias for action natin. If we don't have that, then we can do nothing with our potential, no matter how small or how big our potential is. So I want to encourage you today that if you're like me, that sometimes, you know, you're debilitated by either really big pressure on your shoulders or really discouraged by how other people talk about you, huwag mo isipin yun. Isipin mo one small step after another. I look at my potential and I become honest with it. Like, hey, these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses. After that, I think about, okay, ito yung mga bagay na magaling ako at yung mga bagay na hindi ako masyadong magaling. But what is the bigger purpose of my life? So what, diba? So what kung ito yung talents ko at ito yung mga challenges ko? What do I want to do with that? That's your purpose. Find your purpose. And then once you've found your purpose in your life, then you can then figure out, okay, how do I reach that purpose by persevering every single day with tiny steps and better decisions, no matter how small they are, to become the person that I know God designed me to be and to achieve that purpose with my potential. So daily habit forming, right? Mental and physical health, for example, you sharpen the saw, kumbaga. Sharpening the saw, I love this this thing that I read in a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where the author talks about, okay, if I give you a tree log and a bread knife, for example, a bread knife, to cut down that tree log, are you gonna spend 24 hours trying to cut down that tree log with a bread knife? Or are you gonna spend the first 3 hours sharpening that bread knife before you start cutting the tree log? All that to say na, if you have a tree log to cut, you have to not focus on that tree log, which is, it's overwhelming. Masyado siyang, you know, solid for you to be able to cut through with just a bread knife, when you can start focusing on sharpening the knife or sharpening the saw. And what does that look like in our daily lives? That could look like being healthy, choosing healthier foods, you know, staying active, journaling, eating mindfully, because at the end of the day, our physical bodies heavily affect the way we interact with the world around us. We also have to think about resting deliberately, o kaya naman, the term is to focus and put into our schedule yung pahinga natin. Hindi ka magpapahinga pag may time ka na. You have to really schedule that in, because if not, we will get overwhelmed and we will get overtired. And of course, with mental and physical health, it's so important to create human connections, o kaya naman to find healthy relationships. And by relationships, I don't mean just romantic relationships. I mean your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your friends, with your classmates, with your coworkers, with your mentors, and other people in your life. How do you foster those relationships so that they will be healthy and beneficial for you and for them as well? And of course, with productivity, we have to start forming daily habits of time management, of task management. Time management, paano natin inaayos yung clock natin, yung timeline natin, and yung task management, paano natin inaayos yung compass natin or the things that we want to achieve every single day. That could look like, okay, what are the three major things na gusto kong ma-achieve bukas? Whether that's finishing a paper or, reading 3 chapters in a book. Really write that down and visualize in your head and start making habits that will help you stay on track to really reach out for your purpose so that you can go beyond your potential. I love this quote from Lao Tzu who says, "Watch your thoughts for they become your words. Watch your words for they become your actions. Watch your actions for they become your habits. And watch your habits for they become your character. Watch your character for it becomes your destiny." Schedule your priorities. Don't just prioritize your schedule. Third and finally, to close out my talk on how we can go beyond our potential, we have to have a bigger perspective or we have to have a more focused perspective. Remember that the small changes we make in order to stay productive and to go beyond our potential today pave the way to our future successes. And also remember that our lives have the power to impact others. Okay, so now that we've talked about purpose, which is finding your why, and perseverance, which is building habits that will help you reach that why or reach your purpose, we now have to have the bigger perspective. Bakit nga ba natin kailangan to go beyond our potential? Why do we have to do all this work, to persevere, to work hard, to work smart, and to really seek after a bigger purpose with the potential that we have? It's because of this. Our lives have the power to impact others. I have in my presentation a photo of a weave maker. And kung hindi pa kayo nakakita ng weave maker, alam niyo yung itsura ng weave maker, di ba? Madaming threads yon. Tapos pag nakita mo siya, isa siyang machine na ganyan. Tapos isa yung weave maker, yung taong gumagawa ng magandang silk or kung anumang cloth yon, di ba? Clothing. Pero yung mga threads, diretso lang. Tapos may kita mo silang ginagano nila until makagawa ng magandang pattern yon. And I realized that our lives are kind of like those threads, di ba? Maliliit na threads lang siya, isa-isa lang, pero as time goes by, as the Grand Weaver or God, Grand Weaver is moving towards time, lahat tayo nagiging intertwined. And the pattern of the world, the pattern of our lives won't be complete without those other tiny threads of our own personhood and of our lives impacting others. And so I believe it is our duty to ourselves and to our communities, the people that we love, the communities that we belong to, our country. It's our duty to go beyond our potential because the things that we do with our lives, the things that we achieve with our potential, no matter how big or no matter how small they are, it has the capacity to gravely and positively impact the lives of those around us. Alam kong marami sa atin ang nakarinig na ng, alam mo, hanggang dito ka na lang. Kasi hindi ka naman pinanganak sa ganitong klaseng pamilya, hindi ka naman matalino, wala ka naman masyadong potential, wala ka masyadong talent. At some point in my life, I've heard those hurtful words. And to be honest, it still rings true in my head today. It still is the fuel that fires my insecurities. It still makes me second guess myself, and it still makes me ask, am I really worth it? Am I really worth it being invited to talk to these smarter people than I am? Am I really worth it to have the kind of influence that I have today? And it's still a challenge to go beyond that. But I remember the things that I talked to you about today. I remember my purpose. My purpose is to love God and to love others. And for me to be able to reach that purpose, I must persevere by putting together systems in my life that push me to become a better person every day. And I remember the bigger perspective that I don't just live for myself. I live so that I can love and serve others, so that I can love and serve my family, so that I can love and serve my community, so that I can love and serve my country to the best of my abilities by maximizing my potential, by maximizing my time, my talents, and my treasure so that I can have a positive impact on the world. And at the end of the day, we will all pass away. And I want to be able to leave a footprint and a kind of life that has inspired and encouraged others, no matter how big or small that may be. So I want to encourage you guys today, sa lahat ng mga participants dito, sa lahat ng mga delegates, I want you to remember that your potential is purposeful if you persevere to have a bigger perspective in life. And that perspective is knowing that God can use your life to have a wonderful, positive impact to the world around you. Whatever small potential you have, pag nilagyan mo yan ng purpose at nag-work hard ka, kayang-kaya mong maging next president or next surgeon or next speaker or next teacher. And gusto ko rin kayong i-encourage na ngayon sa social media, di ba, iniisip natin, hindi naman importante yung impact ko kasi 2 tao lang eh. Yung itong artista na to, or itong celebrity na to, or itong TikToker na to, or itong influencer na to. Meron siyang 2 million followers. Ako, ito lang naman ako eh. Ang nai-influence ko lang yung pamilya ko, or yung mga students ko, or yung mga kaibigan ko. But stop thinking of people as numbers. Start thinking of people as souls and human beings that have histories and dreams and a future and their own potential as well. And at the end of the day, kung kaya nating mag-go beyond our personal potential so that we can also fuel a movement of generations and people and communities that also go beyond their potential for the greater good, then this whole world will be a better place. So I want to close with that idea that we are all integral threads to the fabric of life. Again, we are all integral threads to the fabric of life. This life, this timeline won't be complete without you. So don't let other people tell you how small a potential you have or how big a potential you have. Define for yourself. What is your potential? Find your purpose for that potential. Persevere by creating good habits that will help you reach your purpose with your potential, and always have the bigger perspective that I live and max out my potential, not just for myself, but also for the greater good. All right, you guys. So that is my talk for today. I hope na kahit na through the screen lang, na-encourage ko kayo to go beyond your potential. And I pray that this is something that really inspires you to move forward and be better, not just for your own good, but also for the sake of others. If you want to know more and if you want to continue this conversation, I'm sad that I can't do it in person, pero pwede nyo akong i-message on my social media accounts at Joy Spring. Go to my website, www.joyspring.com, and listen to Adulting with Joy Spring to learn more. But in the meantime, I pray that you guys have a wonderful PYC 2022. Maraming salamat po muli for having me. Thank you again to DepEd for inviting me. And hopefully next time I get to see you all in person. God bless you guys.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Princess Joyce, for motivating our participants to go beyond their potentials. And once again, please direct your attention for the video message of the Undersecretary for Finance. We have Yusek and Sevilla.
Blessed day to all of you, most especially to our learners and our future leaders of society. I'm glad to be here with you in this Philippines' last frontier. I would like to commend the Youth Formation Division, or the YFD, led by OIC Chief Robin James Kanha, and ably guided by our Assistant Secretary for Youth Affairs and Special Concerns, ASEC JB Laspicio. You have organized the Philippine Youth Convergence 2022. With regards to youth affairs and leadership, I feel that the biggest step taken by the department under our Mayor Secretary Leonor Magtolis Briones was to recognize the significant gap between generations. And we're talking about boomers, Gen Xers, Millennials, and today's Generation Z. The challenge lies in the differences and certain tendencies and biases we all have, and how this will affect our communication with each other. But despite these differences, there remain similarities between us, especially our desire to be heard. And I think, regardless of our generation, we have all shared the common experience of not having our opinions and thoughts heard or respected. But since 2016, the DepEd has slowly begun to incorporate our student leaders in our activities through the YFD, or the Youth Formation Division. And we are recognizing that planning for the future of our youth should require your involvement and your voices. I think it is fitting that the Philippine Youth Convergence is being held at the closing of this administration in order to provide the incoming administration with the youth education agenda as a guide to our youth sentiments, opinions, and feedback. I hope that you all take this opportunity to make yourselves heard and leave your mark through the youth education agenda that you will all be contributing to. It is a gift not just for yourselves, but for all succeeding generations ahead of you. Thank you, congratulations, at mabuhay po kayong lahat. Para sa ating kabataan, para sa ating bayan. God bless us all.
Once again, maraming salamat po, USEC Undersecretary for Finance, Ann Sevilla. Palakpakan po natin. We would like to acknowledge the assistance provided by Undersecretary Tonicito MC Umali, Undersecretary for Legislative Affairs, External Partnerships, Project Management Service, and Private Education Office for the overwhelming support given by our DepEd partners, which contributed to the success of this national event. Our sincere appreciation to the following partners engaged by the External Partnership Service. First, we have Ayala Foundation Incorporated, the Youth Leadership for Democracy or Youth-Led program of the United States Agency for International Development or USAID, and the Asia Foundation, SCI Services Group Incorporated, Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, Discartec Program, PLDT or PLDT Smart, Ronald McDonald's House of Charities, Empower and Transform Team, Milo, Nestle Philippines, Globe Telecom, and Google Philippines.
Maraming salamat, Geneva Office for Human Rights Education, Century Pacific Group, RSPO Foundation Incorporated, Mary Lindbergh International, Metro Pacific Investment Corporation, Utopia Activation Specialists Inc., and Palawan Pay. The same goes to Fortune Life and Bayad Center. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all give our sponsors a resounding round of applause.
Ayan. Gising pa ba kayo? Pwede bang makahingi muli na isang masigabong palakpakan na may kasamang hiyawan? Yes!
And Sandra, thank you so much to EPS Director Idel Carag, Rolly Soriano, Zenny Lastimosa, Jean Liana, Romy Paraino, Joel Faustino, Carol Labrague, and Dob Cometa. We appreciate your all-out support on the conduct of the Philippine Youth Convergence 2022.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
And in the afternoon, Sandra, at 1 p.m., you'll be coming back for meaningful discussion. That would be facilitated, of course, by the Child Protection Unit of the DepEd Central Office. All right. The Filipino youth is indeed the hope of our motherland, the Philippines. Kabataang Pilipino, kayo ang pag-asa ng ating bayan, kayo ang aming makabagong lakas.
Your talent, knowledge, and potentials are limitless. You have the power to make a change, and that should start within yourselves. Kabataang Pilipino, you belong and you are an essential part of this nation.
This has been Joey Gutierrez of Calapan City.
I am Maria Katrina Sandra A. Magkamit Cortez from Regional Office Mimaropa.
And we say,
Mabuhay ang Kabataang Pinoy!
Mahirap bumangon, wala nang bago ng iba ako. Nais kang magtanto, sa una ng puso'y binabaon. Huminga ng malalim, mga agam-agam ay iyong limutin. Bawat pakina ay iyong pagdasi, ikaw ang dagkitap ng ilaw sa dilim. Nasa